All right, welcome to session 2. We're gonna get started. And this is what I want you guys all to do. Go in the chat and put every class when we start, we're gonna do mood check. So 1, I hate the class. So you're gonna put the number that corresponds to how you're feeling today. And then I'll be looking at it. It's okay. It's okay. 2, I'm not getting it. 3, it's making sense. 4, I like this class. And 5, I'm loving this class. So I want to see you guys light up the chat with your mood check. So we'll do that while we give some time to the assistant to add to do the, what do you call it, to do the attendance. So I want to see your thing, and also make sure you use the name that is on your registration, so you make it easier for the ladies to add you. Okay, we'll do that for like a quick 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next part of the class. So I'm seeing some 4, some 3. And I don't know why it's stuck on her, even though she's not the one talking. Okay, I don't understand. Okay. Go back. I need to maybe make myself just a pin. All right. Okay. So I see some 4, I see some 5. When you guys are pretty much done with the registration, I mean the I don't have hard time with that word today. With the attendance, can you write in the chat that you good and we can start? And also leave a message in the chat when somebody news come. They can also give you the full name so you can um make sure that you note them for attendance. Okay, I'll give it another 1 minute and then we'll get started. So mood check. After mood check, if you guys recall, I hope everybody already had a chance to go on the learning platform. I hope from the learning platform, you were able to navigate to this week course. And if you did well, when you navigate, you were able to most likely see today's quiz. So one of the first thing we'll do is look at today's quiz. Let's see. Oh, I probably have a document that I'm looking at. So we look at the, I've taken note of those class now. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ima. All right, so we're looking at the quiz here. We'll go through every time there's a quiz in your classes note, you have a couple of quizzes throughout. Every time there's a quiz, we'll always answer the quiz before we start the class, and then we'll go through the main topic of today. Okay, so here is the quiz today. Here is a sample for the quiz. Take the quiz, answer the 10 multiple choice question. What does QA stand for? Easy, quality assurance. Number C then. What is the goal of QA? B, to develop that software meets the required standard of quality. What is the difference between QA and testing? That's a good one that people always get confused about. Testing is a subset of QA, okay? You say there's no difference, that's wrong. And number 4, what are some standard QA best practices? So, start late and work, quickly test only the aspect of the product served monitor performance? No. It's number D, test thoroughly and use automation. Yes. And number 5, what are the standard QA tools? Standard QA tools, you have bug tracking, test management, and automation tool. So number D is all the above. What are some challenge in QA? Number 6, some challenge in QA. I will say some challenge in QA. Let's put a participant here. Some challenge in QA are the following. All of the above: lack of resource, changing requirement, and communication. Okay. Number 7, which stage of the software development process involve designing and software architecture? The keyword here is already designed, so that's easy for you to select. Number B, design. Question number 8, which stage of the software development process involve writing code based on design specification? It's the implementation, because the keyword here is writing code. Whenever you're writing code, you're already doing the implementation. Okay. Which stage of the software development process involve fixing bug and improving the overall quality? Because I say fixing bug and overall quality, that's the maintenance phase. It's not testing phase. And the last question, number 10, what is an iterative or incremental software development process? It's all right. We'll go back to what we were talking about. If you are not teaching, please go on mute. Otherwise, we have to mute everybody. Okay. Please be. Okay. Okay. Ah, it's so slow. Okay, this is where we were. I'm gonna open this so I can see, and I also have the chat open here so I can read what's happening in the chat. All right, so sorry, network issue. Let's get back into it. So we were talking about coding. I believe that after you have your technical documentation ready, now you are in a good posture where you can do your coding. So coding is where you actually do the implementation using whatever programming language you want to use. Those of you that are developer, you understand what coding is. Once the coding is done, as while you're doing the coding, depending on what methodology you use, we'll talking most about agile methodology later in this course. Once you do the coding, the next thing that is open you to do is do the testing. Mostly at least the functional testing. That's the most simple and basic testing that is needed at the beginning. So functional testing will allow you to be able to hopefully follow all the test case that you have, and be able to get some bug, and also doing that testing phase. That's when you are doing your bug tracking. So you probably gonna have multiple bugs that you are looking at as you are testing. So you are tracking the result and the fixes. Is how is your team fixing the bug and retesting it and so forth and so on. After testing, the next phase is the deployment phase. Okay, the deployment phase is really where you release these change or these product or this feature to production. Now it become available to a general population, people outside of your development team. That's when you do your deployment. And then after deployment, there's also another phase that we call maintenance, right? Because maintenance is really, because let's say when you buy a software, right, and the software is already in your hand, you're already using it, but then sometimes there's some bug or you get some refresh, there's some software updated. That's the maintenance window that you have. So that's really when the company that created the software, that's when they're fixing new bug, or sometimes even if they want to be a little bit edgy, they add a new feature. So that's really the maintenance for. So this is typically the software life cycle. This is how any software, it has not changed. This is how it's always follow. Now, obviously, as human beings, different people choose different phase. Some people choose not to, follow all of this. Some people like to skip planning. Some people like to skip design. Some people like to skip testing. That there's always a result, there's always some not so positive result when you skip any of this. In a good software development life cycle, you are following all of these different phases. Okay? Love to see if you guys have any question or even comment, because you probably already read about all this and you watch a couple of video also on this as well. Let me see if I'm seeing a question here. How much coding does QA need at entry level? Okay, that's an interesting question, which is not really part of not really in scope to this, but I'm still gonna answer it. Because your question is really asking coding that QA need to do. So that is a very broad stroke question that people like to ask. And it's usually because they're probably either afraid of coding. QA can code at any given point, right? The best QA folks are the QA folks that can do some coding. But you are taking a class called Artificial Intelligence for QA, which means, we are centering the work of QA on artificial intelligence, right? So um, the time where QA have to know how to code is when we are doing automation. And we'll talk about automation in a couple of weeks. So the role of QA have different activity that happen. And your next course is getting into in-depth the work QA have to do. So part of those activity, it will be easier for you to see clearly that automation happen most of the time in part of those activity, and the activity that require coding is automation. Now, if you are leveraging some new artificial intelligence tool that you will hear about in this class, you might need to code or you might not need to code depending on what artificial intelligence. But as I mentioned, coding is just another tool that you need to have on your belt as part of this software development cycle. Don't know if that answered the question. Okay, the person said thank you. Let's move on. Now, this slide is probably as an interesting slide because I believe one of your next assignment that is coming up is about a sitemap, So go to your favorite website that you like. Any website that you have, there's always going to be a sitemap, And the reason why we want you to learn about this is because it really help you structure your test cases. You know, it really help you design your test cases. It really help you understand how you need to create your test case at a very high level, what framework you need to have. So it's not that everything you're gonna test, the software tester or quality assurance person, is always gonna be a website. No. But the good thing about this example, it gives you a structure because everything that happens in software, there's always a structure because computer only can read things as they are structured. So a typical website, even let's say the ZSI website, I like to give that example because that's where you guys went first time, right? You're always gonna have a home page. You're gonna have a maybe contact me page. You're gonna have a footer session. You're gonna have different tab, you know, and that's all what this sitemap is showing. What we want you to derive from this is that the next assignment, you're gonna select your own favorite website. Okay, you're gonna pick whatever website you want. It could be a e-commerce website, it could be a shopping website, it could be your doctor website, it could be any website. But it gotta be a website that you are familiar with, meaning you have been to that website several times, you have click around. And what we're asking you in that assignment that is coming up is to come up with a sitemap using this format, you know? So it allow you to go on the website and really get in depth. So if you don't have any example of website, you can pick the CSI website, but I will urge you to select the website that you are definitely used to. So that's the example of a sitemap here. All right. What question do you have for me? Today, this first session is a difficult session because dive into the information. You will also realize that on the course, I have opened the course for next week already because I wanted the people that, okay, I see somebody raise their hand, I'll get to you. I wanted the people that finish early the reading assignment and do all the quiz and everything, head on to this next session already because the next session is a lot of information. It's a lot. It's literally like double the information that you have this week, this week. So I want you to get started early. So what question do you have, Ozimri? If you want to go on mute and ask your question, I'm listening.
Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, I want to ask, the site map, is it the same with information architecture?
I don't know what do you mean by information architecture. It's not
Like,
something that I'm familiar with. I've heard that word before, but I don't know what that means.
like a map of a map. Let me give an example, like a university where they will give you
Mhm.
a map of where each structure is located at.
No, I don't think a sitemap is that complicated, you know. A sitemap is just, it's when we use the word sitemap is usually for websites, you know. And if you were to create a website from scratch, you can just create your own sitemap and give it to a web developer and you create a website for you. So I'm just making you guys do the reverse engineering of any website so you can find out on paper what is a sitemap. So it's not and information architecture. It's not anything like that. Any other question? All right, so let me get out of this and see for system. Okay, there's a question for system test. Would an example of and seat be something like Uber Eats? platform. Can you open your microphone and ask the question? If the question is, can you use Uber Eater
Good.
as your, yes,
Hi,
go.
Map.
Mhm.
Good afternoon. I wanted to know